Well, let me kick us off. I wanted to ask you to talk a little bit about your journey from business innovator to political innovator. And I know that you served in President Obama's administration. And I wanted to especially ask you what that experience was like inside the president's administration, and how that experience contributed to your coming to this realization of the need for political innovation.
Yeah, it's such an interesting question. I have definitely been asked how I came to political innovation, but not perhaps how that has intersected with the time I served in the Obama administration. So here's the story. They're actually separate. So I'm going to start with what no one ever asked me before, which is about my time in the Obama administration. So I was the CEO of my food manufacturing company in Wisconsin during the Obama administration. I could not move to DC and work there full time. So I was appointed, nominated by President Obama to the board of the Overseas Private Investment Corporation, and then confirmed by the US Senate. And it gave me well, it was fabulous, first of all, but there's two insights for the purpose of this work. One, the Senate confirmation process was a mess. It was phenomenally expensive, extraordinarily time consuming, and then my nomination, which was not at all an issue, got held up for political reasons for, I think I remember, about 8 months, which meant that the board didn't have the people that they needed to function optimally during that time, just for sort of political horse trading. But the other thing is that once I was on that board, I will tell you, the Overseas Private Investment Corporation was so phenomenally well run. It was really a top tier organization, and the talent and the dedication of both the career people and the political appointees was of the highest caliber. And I felt at the time that it was really interesting, the disconnect between this high delivery organization that was part of the government as compared to how we functioned in the political policymaking space. So when our organization needed to get more funding working with Congress, then that was a mess. But when it did what it did, once it had the money to do that, it was really everything we would want. So I think that I'm a big, I believe in our country and also in government. I think there are things that government does phenomenally well that the private sector can't take over for, and this was certainly one of them. Now, when I juxtapose that with how the political system functions, that is, another story entirely. And the quick story on how I went from being a business executive to really wanting to change this political system goes right through my business, which is to say, I originally developed politics industry theory, which is the basis for all this work, when I was doing my own company strategy back in 2013. I was trying to figure out, essentially, how do we sell more cheese sauce? How do I grow my company, which was about $250 million in sales, 350 people? How do I grow this company? And it's all a story of how do I make my customers happy? And while I was doing that, in the back of my mind, this side was sort of cheese sauce, Wisconsin dairy products, and this side was political system. And I was saying, hey, how come for me to do well in my business, I have to serve my customers well, and the politics industry doesn't? Meaning Congress doesn't have to make their customers happy. 90% of people are dissatisfied, but they seem to be doing better than ever in terms of power and revenue of their whole industry. And then the second thing was said, and if I don't do well by my customers, there'll be new competition who will take my customers' business from me. And yet I said, oh, geez, that never happens in politics. No matter how dissatisfied we are, we still have the same two competitors. And so I realized at that time that politics completely lacked healthy competition. And that was the beginning of this work to say, how can we restore the connection that we have in most industries, which is if customers do well, the companies do well. And if customers don't do well, companies don't do well. How can we make it that the parties, the politicians, the elected officials do well only if the public interest, the people of the United States of America are also doing well. And that's fundamentally what we need to deliver. So that's, you know, all the way from there to here.